Good evening. Just a little video from me tonight. It's Friday night. A bit of a story for you tonight, really. So I was down at Chai Cycle. It's been a really amazing day. Like, it's one of those days when everything just seems to like connect. And I mean, obviously, I did quite well on the chai. Like, sold lots of tea, but obviously, it's more than that. Did an interview with a guy called Wiser Truther. He came down. He did some spoken word and told his truth about Bristol and living in Bristol and things like that, about what he sees, and that was really good. And then it was, like always, the synchronicity occurred, and then some other people turned up, and then a guy who does beatboxing for a flute, he turned up, so they did this kind of piece together, which was really cool. But the story I wanted to kind of tell was something that happened towards the end of the tricycle day, and it's been on my mind like all evening basically. As soon as I come home, I started thinking about it again. Basically, like towards the end, I was there with Ben, my friend, Samosa Ben. He's a guy who sells samosas, and his friend. I think they were going out for a meal for his mate's birthday or something. Anyway, they were down there, and then there's basically this guy kind of stumbled into the tricycle space, and he had a cut up here. I think on his left eye, I can't remember. Anyway, so it was over here, I think. Anyway, he kind of stumbled into view, and he was just like basically cut all his eye and stuff. And it's like, I looked at it, and I think you need stitches there, mate, because it was kind of like coming down his head a little bit. And basically, someone else had hit him. He wasn't quite sure what had happened, and he was in shock, like visibly in shock, sort of thing. And these are the stories that I want to tell, really. You know, these things that happen on the street that just obviously go underreported or misreported, not reported, not even to the police, not to the media, not to anyone. These people are very much voiceless, very much the stuff that goes on the street doesn't, there's no record of it anywhere or anything like that. So that's kind of why I'm doing this video, to kind of have it on record that, to acknowledge that it happened to this guy. So anyway, I sit him down, and he's like, you can see he's in shock, sort of thing. He's not really like making complete sense, and he's obviously on edge. And so I said, "Oh, do you want some tea?" So I gave him some tea, some chai. He really liked it. It was really nice. And after a while, I just put my arms around him. I said, "Look, it's okay. Like you're safe now." And it threw me back a few years to when I was homeless, and this kind of feeling of just, so yeah, that's the other part. So basically, after a while, he told me that he was homeless. And so yeah, it just kind of threw me back when I was homeless, when I was 17 and 18, and how lonely you feel, and just like how mad the world seems, or not seems, but is. And you're just trying to basically keep your head above the water, sort of thing. So anyway, he sat down for a while, and he was freezing, and I had my coat, my thick coat to keep me warm. But then I had a jumper on earlier on the day, which I'd taken off, and it was on the side, and it'd been covered in a bit of chai. But basically, it was so cold, he was literally shivering. And what he said to me, that basically when he had been beaten up by whoever up the road, whoever beat him up basically stole his black jacket, which had all of his stuff in, but obviously now he was freezing cold and in shock. So I give him my grey Adidas jumper, which I really love, to be honest, and it sounds really stupid, doesn't it? But actually, you know what, I just give it to him, because I was like, it doesn't matter, like, it's just a thing, like, I shouldn't be holding on to it, really. So I gave it to him. I said, put your arms up, so I put it over his arms and over his head and stuff, and then he sat there, and he just had a little bit of a cry, really. It was really, yeah, it's sad, really. And he just had enough. He had enough of everything. And it's often when those sorts of things happen, when you get punched or something like that, you start to really just puts everything in perspective, doesn't it? It's just, this is fucking shit. This is a shit situation, and a shit, So anyway, he sat round for about, 40 minutes or something till I went, and he told me like he just had enough of his life, and like he told me that he had a son. And I asked him where he was, and he said, "Oh, he's in." Like I said, he's in Bristol, and he said, "No, he's in London," and his name was John as well. And I said to him, "Well, you should be going to the hospital really," and he just didn't want to go. Basically, I did try and kind of make him, but he didn't want to. He didn't want to know really, and off he went after a while. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to tell John's story really, because it's not an isolated incident, and these things happen all the time, you know. And this is the thing I see with the tricycles, you know, a lot of problems, man, on the street. And again, you know, not being reported and just not acknowledged really by anyone. They're just kind of there's this underbelly of Bristol that just seems to just pass through, you know. But I feel like I'm doing a good thing down there at Tricycle, and you know, whenever anyone asks what do you do, I'm selling tea on a street corner. You know, I don't want to romanticise it any more than what it really is. But for me, it's like it's not just selling tea. I'm there to try and shine a light for people and be there to support people when they're, you know, down and stuff. And then this morning was another mad situation where basically a guy ran across the roundabout through the oncoming traffic. And it's like fucking hell, like he nearly got hit by all the cars, like 3 cars in a row. They all beat their horn sort of thing. And he was shouting, "Fuck off! Shut the fuck up!" You know, all this stuff. He was spinning in the middle of the road on his phone. It was like flip. Anyway, when he basically got to the other side of the road, he just like ran towards a tricycle and just went, "Fuck you, fuck you!" And he shouted in an old woman's face, "Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you!" You know, clearly suffering from, you know, mental health. And again, another example of just not receiving the love, support, and help that he really needs. You know, he span off and went his own way, and then there was another little thing where basically I just saw a girl, she was in tears. I don't know what it was about, but she was in tears and she was on the phone to someone. And if I see someone crying, I try and like get them to come over and like give them a tea or something, you know. Because it's the little gestures that count really. So yeah, more to come really. But that was John's story, and it basically ended with me saying, "Look, I want you to come down next week and tell your story about what it's like to be homeless in Bristol." And I asked him where he's sleeping at the moment. He just says wherever, basically, like wherever he can kind of find. And this is, like I say, it's not an isolated incident. There's a flipping lot of people living rough at the moment. A lot of people living in tents, but a lot of people just sleeping wherever they can find. And it's becoming a real social issue in Bristol. And more and more people should be aware of it. And we need to actually get to the root cause of these issues. So the life for John, because I asked him, I said, you know, what do you want to, it's my thing on the board at the moment, is dream. What do you really want to do? And that goes for everyone. That's not just, you know, people who are you know, a bit more together, like, you know, it's everyone, you know. Why can't John have the life he wants? Like, he, you know, for whatever reason, obviously he's got problems, and you know, I'm not in a position to say that he's some kind of saint or anything like that, but he is a human being, and that's the most important thing, is that, you know, he deserves the right to dream, to live his life as he sees fit. And I hope wherever he is tonight that he does decide to come back and have a chat with me next week and do a video, because he said he would. He said he'd do it all in 2 minutes. He said it won't be any longer than I'll say everything you need me to say. I said, it's not, you know, what I want you to say, it's what you want to say and what you want to say to Bristol, to the world. And he said he'd do it, so I'm hoping he'll come back, and I hope that he's alright tonight. And I hope that he's gone to hospital to try and get that stitched up, because it did look like it needed stitches. So anyway, that's John's story. Cheers and bye. Can you turn this off?